Man, it's your boy GLW, man. What's good with y'all boys, man? Back with another video, man. Listen, man. I just want to just start yapping real quick, man, because this video is really about emotions again, and it's really a centerpiece of, like, I swear, like, people need a class on this shit. Like, we need restoration in the young black communities, man. People need. I mean, I know everybody can't be this way because it'd be too organized. You feel me? It'd be too. Guys have to be in chaos, but a certain amount. But it's like, man, like, it's something that is to be said about a man who could just, you know, God bless the child that could hold his own. Like, and it ain't really physical. It's versus emotional. Like, most young, colored guys like myself are, raised by women. So all you hear all day is whining and bitching and moaning and on the phone. Like, all this shit is irrelevant. Like, I could live, I could do bad all by myself. I could do way better without it. You feel what I'm saying? And the devil be knowing that, you feel me? That's why it's funny to certain people, but it's funny, right? But that's why these emotional mastery uh classes, or I might even put something together, just a product, you know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that I will jump to, like, the typical cliche things like confidence, or self-esteem, these things that you grow up, it's like people throw these words around. Oh, you lack self-esteem. Oh, you would have been more like this, or this should have been like that, or you look cute, or you're handsome, you look like your dad, or all that shit you hear growing up is fucking bullshit. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to this, what I call game, my definition may be a little different than yours, but it's all in the same vein. At the end of the day, men who are less emotional will always get the woman. You feel what I'm saying? Not only the woman, but anything of a feminine nature, more money, anything, like, people will always find a reason to bitch because that's what society has built you to do. You know what I mean? And, you know, I look at life like this. I try to, at least, win, lose, or draw. Like, bro, I promise you, I'm not an emotional guy. I just live with people who be on emotional shit all day. And they tend to do things to bother my spirit. But outside of that, I'm like the most. If I get, like, when I get my own crib, y'all gonna see the type of peace I got in that crib. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a vibe. Super healthy, super just balanced. Like, I believe that mental illness is biology first. It's biological. Something has to. You either eating bad food, or you're doing something wrong. And people just nowadays been trained, like, I'm like Andrew Tate with this. Like, people been trained to think that, like, I'm smart enough to realize, like, yo, when I was younger, I used to play the game a lot. I used to be alone a lot. So a lot of the feelings I felt was childish. It was just a byproduct of being alone too much, or doing, being kind of like isolated a little bit. And when I did start going outside more and start being more social and stuff, it's like you develop a dependency on people. You develop a dependency, like wanting to be around the homies all the time, or wanting to spend the night when you should just take your little punk ass home. You feel me? You want to spend the night out and shit. It's like, okay, that's normal, but it comes to a point where it's like, man, listen, if you was really born into a certain different situation, a lot of these situations wouldn't be like that. A lot of structure don't be in the household. A lot of fathers would just tell their son, man, come home, man. If someone want to spend the night at our house, they spend the night, but it ain't all of that. Spending the night out, or think about, like, overly thinking about women, like, basically wanting to crush everything. You feel me? Like, all of that shit is just weak. Like, you feel me? And it's cool because it's funny and it's fun sometimes, but it's like, that's the difference. Like, right? When you have emotional mastery, you do things because you can, not because you need. Like, you don't need to you don't feel needy about anything, right? Like I want 1,000 subscribers, but I know like that shit is the childish part of me. But the real part of me is like, bro, just enjoy the process. You feel me? Just because every day you might. It's a lot of people who get the overnight success, but they really ain't talking about nothing. They regurgitating other people's shit, but they got the overnight success. So it's like pick your poison. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot of people are scared to suffer. You feel me? And that's I guess human nature to a certain extent, but it's like there got to be a balance. That's my word of this video. That's my word of the year. You know, there got to be a balance. I'm sincere on that word because I just noticed, man, like life can get ugly and it can get beautiful, but you got to be in the middle. You got to just be in the middle. Like it's like when I wake up every day, right? Wake up and the sun is shining, or the light is just say it's light outside. Then after a couple of hours go by, the sun start going down and then it's getting dark. Am I gonna say, oh, because it's dark, life is bad? No, that's what the biddies do. That's not what we doing. I don't feel like because it's dark outside that the life is bad. And then because it's cold, it's supposed to be cold, right? It's not supposed to be hot. The summer we enjoyed that, remember? See, people be that's another thing about society I notice about the young men too. Like we're not the wisest as we think we are. But we can be. We can be. But it just be like the emotions be kind of like ruling people to the point where they will forget, like, yo, I just was having mad fun in the summer. Why should I not just enjoy the Halloween or enjoy the fall? And like people have an inability to see the good in the bad, or what is considered to be something uncomfortable is what people call bad. Because like with me with the snow, I always said like I hate the fucking snow. I heard that Hey Arnold show when I was younger, where someone was like, I hate the snow. I hate the snow. Like that shit stuck with me, bro. And I'm just now peeping that in my mind as I'm speaking to y'all. But that I used to love that episode, and I adopted that thought at a young age, and I really feel like that to this day. But when you really do the math, a lot of the shit be psychological and biological, and these two things ruminate on each other like a chakra, like a wheel. They go round and round. So a lot of young boys and young guys, they're not really emotional from birth. They've had to be baptized in the emotion. You're not that. But what it is that society will play on the fears, because the fear is one of the strongest emotions that a person can really ever have. You could feel a little doubt, feel a little worry. You could feel a lot of different things, but that fear has been the biggest thing that we're gonna use. You feel me? Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Even with animals, like with dogs and shit, you want to instill that fear. One of my big cousins told me with a female, he's like, yeah, how she gonna why would she said something like how she gonna have sex with you if she not scared of you, some shit like that, or how she gonna respect you. He said some shit like that, but it stuck with me. But now I'm older now, I don't really think that way completely, but I do see that in women, especially the type of women we gotta deal with. You feel me? Like if they don't fear you, and this is just the communities we come from, if people don't got no fear about you, it's just what's gonna happen. So it's like, but it ain't just our community, it's the world in general. You know what I'm saying? 98 to 99% of this shit is fear based. Like even with social circles, if someone don't fear that, yo, this Will brings a lot of value to me, I fuck with Will, he bring a lot of value, then they really don't really they'll choose someone else to hang with or some shit like that. Like with the channel too, it's like if you don't bring no value, niggas ain't trying to click and watch an hour of someone talk about nothing. You feel me? And I mastered talking about nothing because I'm a philosopher. You feel me? Deep down within, so I mastered that, but I try not to do that on this channel, because what it is on this channel is that everything I'm saying is something to me. So I wouldn't give a fuck if someone don't fuck with me. And that's what I was saying about people regurgitating other people's shit. Everything in life originates from the dark. So boredom isn't bad. We've been trained. Like I said, when I was young playing video games, I had to hear somebody say, you need to go outside. You need to do that. Now everybody outside see what's going on outside. People wish they would have stayed inside. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can never let another person from the outside tell you, you feel me? See what I'm saying? How to dictate, you know, because that's what I noticed. If you really want to break down what masculinity really is to me, it's like your ability to just outlast shit. How masculine are you if you ain't outlasting shit? You have the exterior of it, but the interior is what matters. So it's like, everybody, that's what certain coaches talk about when they say people want to hit the gym, da 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 da. But ain't no woman really gonna fuck with no strong ass, off balance nigga. They want a guy, whether you skinny or not, that got his feet planted and that's sturdy, that know how to talk, because that's a symbol of, okay, he gonna fuck the shit out of me. Win, lose or draw, he gonna fuck the shit out of me, and they could trust that. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about being attractive, and I don't know how I got all the way over here, but we talk about being attractive, it's like same principle. Like, men, and maybe it's one of my weaknesses I'm working on too, but we have to learn how to embrace the journey, man. All this dating coach shit, all this lifestyle coach, all the pain, all the hate. No, the average frustrated chumps trying to nibble at your toes while you on the journey. You know what I'm saying? Being more emotionally stoic, being more thoughtful, being more just how can I put it? What's the word? Because well, I'm doing it right now, the word I'm looking for. Accepting of judgment. You know when you post a video, someone might comment. You know when you walk up on a chick in the middle of Trader Joe's, everybody's peeping or seeing out the corner of their eye that two people had just started talking. But what you notice is that people don't really give a fuck the way you thought they would. But maybe there is a couple people who really is just really eavesdropping on that shit. But like, what you gotta realize is that, you know, like I said, like, people be so scared of pain. Like, people be so scared. People be so scared of like a couple things. Like, people be scared of the unknown, pain. You know, what if this is her boyfriend? What if this is her big brother? Or what if the Trader Joe's company see that I'm talking to girls and then they start like watching me more or some shit? Every time he come in here, he try to talk to the bitches. He's gonna fuck up our money. Like, you gotta just understand, man, like, maybe that is what takes place. And you know, it's a lot of things why people are trained to be fearful. But for me personally, again, it's like, you have to understand that darkness and light is a part of life. That's what I'm gonna leave this video at. Like, you can't really go too deep on it, because remember, everybody's psychological traumas and shit are different. But just know, like, um, figuring out your own is what's important. Basically, figuring out your own. That's why I always talk about journaling. Because sometimes people think self-esteem is what's wrong with them. But you can look at, it's two things that I look at in this regard. You got self-esteem and you got groundedness. So if someone could walk up to you and tell you about you, which people typically try to do all the time, if you haven't noticed, what they're doing is they're seeing if you're grounded. You might think it's they're checking your self-esteem. And this is why most guys get thrown off balance, because you're misjudging what people are doing as a species. They're not really concerned with your self-esteem. No one gives a fuck about your self-esteem the way you should. But what they really care about is groundedness. Because if a person is grounded, what people, I guess, evolutionarily been designed to realize is that if someone's grounded, they don't really need self-esteem. Because groundedness is like saying fuck you without saying it. Remember, we evolved from species. Our first language was not speech. Our first language was kinetic touch and movement and stuff like that. So what does that mean? Groundedness was everything, and it still is. But because people talk, they think that it's more about the self-esteem or the confidence. But it's really about groundedness. If a person is grounded, then that person will naturally avoid negativity. So anything weaker than him will naturally perish or fail to exist or won't want to hang around, because weak people and weak things don't like to be in the presence of strong people and strong things. So it will just gravitate to some other weak shit. It won't even hang around. So this is something I noticed, because I used to think it was self-esteem. I'm like, yo, why it seem like I could talk to somebody for 3 minutes, or maybe I get a comment on a video and it makes me feel like I'll be shooken up by it. After I'll leave the conversation, I'll be like, damn, that motherfucker just left a little impression on me. Like, and what I noticed I thought it was self-esteem issues, but I figured out like, man, you have high self-esteem, very high self-esteem. What it really is that that person was able to unground you, because that person was, um, it can happen to anybody. That's what it really is. Like, there's a difference between self-esteem and being ungrounded or grounded. The way someone's talking to you or talking around you can unground you. Hold on.